Hi! For anybody who has been following me long enough, you very well know that I have done many things to try and, to market myself or whatever. To no such luck. It's just the way it is. It wasn't meant to happen when it happened. It might not be meant to happen now. But I really like being productive in ways that are unproductive for me. It's part of my Enneagram personality type. I will see a project from start to finish and it won't be the project that I need to be doing. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So, 10 years ago, as of last November 2020, was the 10-year anniversary of my first book. It's called N.E.X.T. Got it right here. Yes, this is my eye. That is the first question I get every time. I'm doing this because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I didn't do anything for the 10-year anniversary because I threw myself into yet another project that was not what I needed to be doing, which is writing scripts and making films and maybe my next novel. I missed it. It was like November 6th, 2010. So November 6th, 2020 was the anniversary. And I missed it. And it wasn't until like December something I was like, oh my god. Because I had started rereading it. It's really entertaining to see to actively see my 13-year-old mind in this book. And so a couple of days ago I was like, why don't I just record myself reading them and post them on Instagram? And then of course, naturally, I'll probably post them on YouTube, and this is already going to be much longer than I think it needs to be. But whatever, like, whoever's along for the ride is along for the ride. I'm only going to read like between 3 and 5 chapters. The chapters are short. I'm going to do like live reactions to what I have written, and we will slowly work our way through this book that is now 10 years old. I'm also not great at reading out loud, but I do have my glasses. Came prepared. Okay. Prologue. Yeah. Next by me. That is Shelby Campbell. Something wasn't right. Things are never perfect, but this was different. Something just didn't feel right. I put a hand to one of my violet-colored eyes. I'd always known I was different. You could see that as soon as anyone made eye contact with me. There was no denying I was different from everybody else. But everyone is the same on the inside, right? Sure, but when you're in high school, kids don't care about that stuff. Mind you, I started this at 12. I don't know nothing about high school yet. Interesting to be writing about high schoolers. But that's the kind of stuff I was reading. They only care about what's on the surface. And violet-colored eyes are no exception. I'm trying to be like not monotonous as I read this. Trying to evoke my inner theater kid. Hopefully it's working. But how do you go to school with a group of kids that know more about you than you do? Just the day before, my parents told me I was the next naturally empowered, extraordinary terrestrial. But they left it at that. They said nothing more. So at the moment, I was sitting trying to figure out exactly what that meant. Nothing came to mind. I didn't even know if I was supposed to figure it out or if they were supposed to tell me. Things still didn't feel right, and I was beginning to think this whole being a N.E.X.T thing was a bigger deal than they had taught us in school. I wondered if I had missed a lesson on that subject one day. I probably wasn't focused, my mind wandering to something else. Actually, I doubt it. I was pretty focused in school. I walked down the street from my porch and took in the cool breeze, still thinking about who I really was. And if it was so important, when would it all happen or even begin? I continued walking until I got to the park, then sat near a tree. I had a strangely strong feeling it was all about to start. Oh yeah! So, like I said, I already started rereading this. I didn't finish it. I got like halfway. Boy, we gonna get there. Okay. Chapter 1. Wow, Liana, her eyes. They're beautiful. And James paused, really taking a look into his daughter's eyes. Purple. James, She's the next. She's going to stop the next disaster, just like your grandfather.
Sir, we have a problem. We're being sucked into a black hole.
The pilot said, surprisingly calm.
We need something small to throw out to create separation between the black hole and our ship.
So, throw out the trash, James said playfully, paying more attention to his daughter.
I left out a part. It has to be, well, this is a light consumer, so the small object must be living.
They all looked at Amethyst in her mother's arms. Oh no, she's not going anywhere, Liana said firmly. Sweetheart, we'll just tie a rope around her so we can pull her out. But you have to trust me. What if it doesn't work? It will, I'm sure. James took Amethyst from her mother and tied a rope around her body. He took a deep breath and threw her out. When they were far enough away, he reeled her back in and thanked God she was all right. He brought her back inside and handed her to his wife. No one noticed that something was different. I woke with a start. There was something very familiar about that dream, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I ignored it because I was too tired to think. I got out of bed and looked in the mirror. I was pretty sure that the baby in the dream was me. But how? And nothing looked different. Who was that telling me the story, narrating their every move? A lot of things didn't make sense anymore. My parents were hiding too much. Amethyst, your breakfast is ready, my mom called from downstairs. Coming, I called back down. I really hope I don't sound like an idiot, guys. I went downstairs and leisurely ate my breakfast, not in any hurry to get to school. Okay, Amethyst, my dad said, hurry it up, I have to get to work. I'm taking you to school today, remember? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I put my plate in the sink and kissed my mom goodbye. I stopped at the door, startled and scared. It felt like I wasn't in control anymore. It was gone after a minute, but I didn't feel the same anymore. Something wasn't right when I left. Something was different. How many times am I going to say that? Is everything all right? My dad asked. I nodded my head and buckled my seatbelt. Dad, are you and Mom keeping something from me? I asked. This had been bugging me for the past year. You told me I'm a N.E.X.T, but I don't know what a N.E.X.T is. Shouldn't I? He sat there and looked ahead. I sighed and jumped out of the car. Have a nice day, sweetheart, he said, and then he drove off. He completely dropped the subject. Something was definitely up. Hey, it's a purple-eyed loser, a voice said once I got to the school gate. Claire. I really did not feel like being bothered with her. I was too busy thinking about my dream and trying to figure out what was going on inside of me. Where are you headed, Purple? I tried to walk around her, but she swiftly moved back in front of me. Hey, I'm talking to you, Purple, she said with a wave of her hand. Look, Claire, I don't really feel like being bothered. Just leave me alone. I was thankful that as I said that, the bell rang, because that was all I had. If she had replied, I was done for. On my way to class, my eyes started burning like someone had sprayed pepper spray in them. Then they got really watery, and as I reached up to rub them, everything stopped. I wanted to freak out, but figured it would all make sense soon and continued on my way to class. In math, my teacher sent me to the nurse. She was paying close attention to how much I was rubbing my eyes. You don't know what this is about? The nurse asked. I shook my head. Then I can't tell you. What? Why not? Isn't that your job? I asked. Not in this case, sweetie. This one's on your parents. That one line echoed in my head all day. This one is on your parents. Apparently, they had some explaining to do. The rest of the day was normal, but I couldn't focus. It was like everything was coming at me at once. As I walked past Claire on my way home, she glared at me, then bumped me. Which, sadly, is nothing new. Right on schedule, I thought. Oops, didn't see you there, Purple, she said sarcastically as she walked away. I watched her walk away, calculating how much trouble I would get into if I punched her. Forgot about it when a voice came from behind me. Don't pay her any attention, it said. It was Jason. I couldn't tell you how long I'd liked Jason. Dark blonde hair. Dark blonde hair and blue eyes. And he had just the right amount of muscle. In my eyes, he was perfect. full of hot air, he said. I giggled a little and began to walk. He walked next to me. So, why do you let her get to you? I thought about it for a while because the truth was I wasn't really sure. I guess because if I let my anger out on her, someone could end up hurt. Someone being her. He snickered, and for the first time I noticed the scar across his eye. How did that happen? I asked, gesturing at it. His smile disappeared. He actually looked like he wished I hadn't asked. Never mind, I quickly said. No, it's cool. My stepdad got angry when I was little, and, well, you get the point, he said uncomfortably. Wow, so forthcoming. Oh, I said sympathetically. Yeah, he replied, but there was an awkward silence afterward. Well, I've got to go home and cook dinner for my mom, he said, breaking the silence. See you around. He waved and headed out the door. While I was walking, all I could think about was Jason. My mind wandered to what my parents were keeping from me. I needed to talk to them. Then the burning and watering in my eyes came back, and I had a feeling whatever my parents were keeping from me would explain it. And wasn't that what the nurse was implying? Whoa, I said as I tripped over a lift in the concrete. All my books fell, and so did I. I shut my eyes as I fell, knowing I was in for some new scars. Except, I never hit the ground. I floated instead. So we're gonna stop at chapter 1. Like, it's totally cool. I'm not trying to bore anybody with this stuff. I'm already, like, ready to stop. So, yeah. This, I think, is gonna be enjoyable. I didn't do anything for the 10-year, like I said, and I feel like that was just an oversight. I was so prepared to, like, at least post about it, because it's, like, kind of a big deal. Like, not a lot of people write novels as a teenager. A young teenager at that. So I feel like celebrating it, and it's fun. Especially to reflect, because, yeah, this is probably my greatest accomplishment so far, and maybe always will be, and I might get emotional thinking about it, but it was the first thing I did, and it was the thing that I was the most confident in at that time in my life, and I don't think I've ever been more sure about anything, especially now as I'm, like, trying to embark on my career as a writer, as a filmmaker. Lots of doubt, and no tears, and 12-year-old Shelby was fearless. So yeah, I want to be her again. Peace out.